the life of a musician and what musicians go through from time to time, and being with a musician. Great shout out to Music Man 8601. Got your email a while back, and very powerful, and I can relate because I am a musician myself. When you are a musician or a producer, minister of music, it takes a special woman, really special, got to be sent from the Most High to deal with a musician. A lot of times musicians always think that the one they be with is going to be a musician, but that's not the way it always works a lot of times. But there are some women out here who are able to deal with a musician. It requires you being gone so much. And a lot of women at first, they'll say they can handle it, they can deal with it. But if they can't miss you one day, go without missing you for 1 or 2 days, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be able to deal with you being gone for weeks and months at a time, if that had to be the case where you had to leave. But it's very time consuming as being a musician. You deal with a lot, you take in a lot, and I can't stress this enough to say that it have to be special, heaven sent by the Most High woman, understandable woman is what I'm really getting at. She have to be very understandable, because the sad thing is most women know what you're doing up front, before you even get married or just say get off into the relationship. They already know that's what you are from the beginning. And then it's cool at first, but then it's like, as time passes by, you get more and more busy, all the fussing and nagging comes along. But it seems like they're not tripping when the money come in. But that's your job. That's what you do. That's your gift. That's how you make your living. And it's tough because it's tough on a woman because as a musician, you are always hit on. I'm not just talking about if you playing in clubs and restaurants and, whatever, doing wedding engagements, even in the church. It's seems like it's even more harder in the church as a musician or minister of music. You have women that hit on you in the church that don't even care if you married or not. Just being honest with you. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. Most of these women now don't care whether you are married or you dating somebody. I ain't talking about all women. The ones who do this, they know who they are, and they have no respect at all. And the men that do this have no respect at all for, their woman or their wife that they with. And it gets to the point where it get out of control. That's why a lot of people think that most musicians are hoes. And it put a bad name on us because everybody is not the same way. Even in most church bands that I know, most of the people in the band are very wicked, sleeping around with each other, getting drunk together, getting high together, shacking up together. I'm talking about in the church. I don't bite my tongue. And so most women, when they get with a musician, those thoughts go through their mind. I want to see out there cheating on me because he always around a whole lot of people and women, and everybody know most women love to hear a man sing or play instruments, or even being a preacher. They have to deal with a lot. And because some women are drawn to that. If you can sing, especially if you can sing and you look good, you ain't, hell, nowadays you ain't even gotta look good. But if you can sing and play, a lot of women are attracted to that. And most women that get with a musician, that thought is always in their mind, especially, when they gone all the time and coming in late, So being with a musician is difficult, but it can be done, because if the Most High is the head anyway, it's done. I'm putting it to you like this. If you let the Most High put you with who you supposed to be with, it still ain't going to be easy, but you can get through it. Because it takes a special kind of man, or it takes a special kind of woman to be with a musician. And I'm saying it on both sides because there are a lot of women who are musicians, pianists, organists, keyboard players, bass players, drummers. And you got insecure men out here who can't deal with it. They want to know your every move or who you with, or who you on the phone with. And it's just on both sides. So when you start talking about being with a woman or a man that's a musician, I always tell a woman up front, do you think you can even handle that? Because I'm just going to be honest, from even my own experience, it started out okay, but when I get real busy, they don't understand it. And that causes a lot of trouble. Excuse that airplane, I'm over here by the airport. It causes a lot of trouble, and next thing you know, you're breaking up. You know, feelings get hurt, you know, tension is there. And the sad thing that happens a lot is children get involved in the middle, you know. And once you know what a person do, you know, it shouldn't really be so much of a problem, but it's that within deep inside of you that you think that you can handle it. And then, see, it's easy, let me just say it like this. It's easy to say something because you're not in it. Actions do speak louder than words. What you mean by that, JT? It's easy to say, oh, I think I can handle this. I think I can handle being with you. I can handle the being gone. I can handle all the mess you deal with. It's easy to say that until you get off in it. And I can tell you from being a musician, it's not easy being a musician, and it's not easy dealing with what you deal with all the time because people will try you all times, at all times. Seems like it's not a day go by when somebody don't try me, or I'm getting talked about, or especially if you're an MD, you have to make all the decisions. MDs, man, a lot of people want to murder the MD, kill the MD, because the MD is the one that stands above everybody and have to make those tough decisions when nobody else have to make those type of decisions. I've been an MD now, probably almost 20 years now. Or being a minister of music, you know, I started playing for church when I was 15, and I saw a lot in the church, and I saw a lot in the world. I'm talking from experience, not what I've heard or what such and such told me. I'm talking about what I've went through, what I still see to this day, because I know what's going to happen. I know what's to come. I'm going to tell you something to the musicians out here. If you haven't went through nothing yet, just keep living, keep being a musician. And I guarantee you're going to say JT was so right. He hit the nail on the head, because the older you get, the more you go through. I went through a whole lot at a young age, but the more you go through, the older you get, the more you experience. And I'm going to just say this boldly and bluntly like I always do. You're going to go through the most headache inside of a church building. With the ones who say they love the Most High so much, those are the ones that's going to give you the most trouble, the biggest headache. Sometimes it's easy to go into the world and play at a restaurant with the band, get your money, everybody have fun, and go home, and then go to church and got to worry about somebody cutting your check off, or you out there playing that worldly music. They give you a big headache. I'm not talking about everybody, but to the musicians who know what I'm talking about, most churches will do you dirty, treat you like you nothing, and use this term here, well, you doing this for God. Don't worry about it. God gonna take care of you. And that's the most dumbest thing you can tell people a lot of time, because the Most High send people to take care of you. The Most High use people to bless you. It don't always have to be money. And I mean this out of love. That saying right there have killed a lot of musicians. And keep you, and it would keep you, if you let that get to you, you will never move forward, because, well, that's my family. It's my family church, man. Family will do you worse than your own enemies, man. Trust me, I know. I done played for family, dealt with family, and left family, and then go back to family. The biggest blessing I got was leaving my family. So this just a real talk video to the musicians, and to the one, you asked me about, how do you deal with that? That's why for a long time, being single, as a musician, it has its advantages and disadvantages. And I can talk from that because being single from a long time, you don't have to focus on that much. You know, when it's just you, you know, your instrument, you going out doing your thing, you don't have to worry about all that nagging and fussing. And when you coming back home and you know, when you don't have time for me, you knew what you was dealing with when you got into it. Now, I will say this as a true man of the Most High. As musicians, we have to make time. We have to say everything is a sacrifice anyway. We have to sacrifice and make that time, you know, for who we with. The problem is just they have a hard time accepting what you do, you know. I remember one time I was in this relationship with this girl. I won't reveal her name because she still look at me on camera. Mostly all my exes are watching me right now, and they know I'm telling the truth. But I won't put them on Front Street with their name out there like that. But at first, she thought she could handle being with me. But she noticed every day of the week. I was working 12 hours a day back then, 13 really. And then I was still being a full-time minister of music, working a regular job, full-time minister of music, and doing groups and band thing. And she knew that before she got with me, so she was like, oh yes, that's cool, baby, do your thing. But when I went home Monday, when I went home Tuesday, Wednesday, when I would come home from choir rehearsal late, or if I was coming from the studio, that's another thing, I'm a producer. So when you are a producer, big shout out to the producers. Y'all know what I'm talking about, them endless hours and nights in the studio. So it was cool at first, but then it started becoming, you ain't never home. I wasn't at home before I met you. See, when you're used to doing you, it's very complicated sometimes when you start trying to involve somebody else in your life because you're so used to doing you. But now here's this other person, or here's this other person with their children. Let's just keep it real. So when you start used to doing you, and here it is, you trying to accept this, and then the fussing comes on. Well, I understand you still a musician, but man, you ain't got to be gone that long. We need to figure out what we gonna do. Well, I'm already doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it becomes an argument, and you find yourself instead of trying to make it work, but you seem like you get further and further separated from each other, you know. And in my case, when I was with this girl, she wound up just saying, you know what, I can't do this no more. I didn't know you was that busy, you know. And right now, I'm not as busy as I used to be, because what I used to do compared to what I'm doing right now, I'm very laid back now. Because I quit doing a lot of stuff. That's why I'm glad I went through what I went through, because I found out the hard way what I really supposed to be doing. And you'll see, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. I had the hardest time in the gospel field, behind closed doors, playing with gospel groups, quartet groups, different groups, being in the studio with them. I saw the drinking, the fighting, the drugs, the whoring around, the mess. And then I saw how they would go to church on Sunday like nothing happened, still sing with each other and act like they got the Holy Ghost, living in sin. I was in that. And for a while, being honest, I got caught up in that lifestyle the wrong way. I started shacking up. I started living the way I wanted to live. I started forgetting about the Most High. I started getting drunk. I started talking noise. I started hanging with the wrong crowd. I started, you know, getting all the way off in the wrong lifestyle until the Most High set me straight. And I never went back to that. That's why I'm talking from experience. Be careful who you hang around, because you will become them. And if you don't separate yourself, you're going to fall deeper and deeper in sin. Sin got a way of grabbing hold of you and pulling you deeper and deeper and deeper into it. Because I hung around all the smoking and the drinking, and you know, I watched my uncles do certain things. So as a youngster, I've always been in music. And I thought that church was different until I started really getting involved in being a minister of music. I saw a lot. I saw a whole lot, and it blew my mind at first, but now I'm not shocked at nothing I see. So I'm trying to tie this video all in together with the life of a musician and the women who say I can only speak from a man point of view because I'm not a woman and don't plan on being one. But from a man point of view, as a man of the Most High point of view, I'm going to say this again, it takes a special sent by the Most High woman to put up with men like us. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And one thing I always do, I watch a woman very closely up top at first. I watch her actions on how she is now, you know, to see how she gonna be later. That's one thing I tell any woman that I've ever dated or talked to. I watch how you are now. And you showing me off top how you really are. So if you can't hang with it now, that let me know if I try to be with you, it's going to be difficult because you already complaining about, I ain't been home in a few hours. You talking about a few hours versus a few days, or a few months, even a year or two. See, I don't do it. That's why I say I don't do a whole lot of what I used to do. But there was a time in my life where I stayed gone. I never came home. I spent nights in the studio. You know, 3, 4 in the morning was nothing for me to do. Sometime I would leave home at 7, you know, a.m. and you wouldn't see me till the next day, you know. That was, but the money is good. But at the same time, you got to be careful what you doing and who you doing it for. That's why I don't produce nobody but myself now. Y'all notice, that's why let me say this too. I have to make this. This is why I never took down none of my old videos off YouTube. Y'all know how long I've been on here now. I wanted y'all to see a whole lot of what I used to be, what I used to do. And then I want you to see where I'm at now because that could help somebody. That's why I never take away old videos. You even gonna see videos with me cussing, you know, in the backyard drinking if you can find them videos. I know they're still on it because I never took none of them down. Now, a lot of my videos did get erased when they had hacked my page, but I didn't erase them. But I wanted people to see who I was and then where I'm at now. Because half of the people I used to play for, I don't play for them no more. Half of the churches I was at, I left them alone. The majority of the churches I was at, I left them alone and never went back. Church folks, period. I had left church folks, groups, quartet groups, choirs, praise teams, bands, you name it. I pretty much put a whole lot of that behind me and started moving forward and concentrating on what the Most High has had me to do. That's why you see me doing these videos all the time. I started doing the tutorials all the time. I had to change what I was doing for the best. And let me tell you this, musicians, your change is not for the other people. It's for yourself. That's why a lot of people don't understand. Well, why you quitting us, man? Why you leaving us alone? Because your change is not for them. It's for yourself. And if you don't change what you're doing, once again, you're going to wind up doing exactly what they doing, falling for them in so many ways and what they do. So, and I know you dealing with this because you say your woman is at that point now where she just complaining. You say, but when you bring the money home, she not tripping off of that. She happy because you know, you take care of her. You give her a nice cut of your change, your money that you make, but it's when you gone. And that it's building, what it's doing is building up. And once something keep building up and building up, it's going to come to a head one day. And that's when all the hell break loose. So some women can deal with it, brother. Some women can't. Some women know from the top that they can't deal with it, but they still try. But then you have those women that can really tough it out. They go to the end with you. They gonna be there from the beginning, and they gonna stick all the way there with you to the end. But you rarely find women like that. It's few nowadays. Just like on the men's side, it's few nowadays. Because nowadays, everybody look like they about themselves. It's about me. Well, you know, what you gonna do for me? And, you know, when you start talking like that, the Bible calls it, you know, getting you a help meet. But nowadays, it's just, what you gonna do for me? Help me. You know, I ain't gonna help you, but you help me. You need to take care of me. A lot of people have that mentality. So, with that being said, man, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. And just think about what I'm saying, man. It takes a special woman to deal with a musician. It takes a special man to deal with a woman, especially if the woman is very beautiful and always getting hit on, very attractive. Same with a man that's very handsome, and women, you know, see him as a sex symbol in so many ways. He gonna get hit on. She gonna get hit on. So, and if you are, I'm gonna say this like my old video as I close this out. If you are an insecure person, you should never find yourself trying to be with a musician, because it will never work. It will never be a trust at all, because you're too insecure. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day.